Greetings, everybody. This is another episode of the Pot of Aggieland, starring your host, yours truly, Chase Lane, number 2 in the field, number 1 in y'all's hearts. Coming off a very, very disappointing loss in South Carolina this past weekend, and I'll be unpacking that and getting into that. But as always, we're going to start it off with the quote of the day. So the quote is, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, where you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it." So one more time. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, where you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it. And that is from Maya Angelou. So basically, how this resonated with me, just off the top of my head is, we're coming off a disappointing loss, like I said, 30-24 loss after being down 17-0 on the road in a hostile environment. Like I said, this season is not what we pictured it being at this point. But we're sitting at 3-4. We're under 500, and if this is not adversity, then I'd like to see what is. But we're in a place where guys on the team, we have to do a lot of soul searching, and we're really going to see at this point who really loves the game of football, and who's going to get into that foxhole with you, as Coach Fisher always says, who's going to continue to fight with you, and who's not going to give up on the team. But yeah, man, it's a very telling time that we're going through right now, and I thought this quote meant a lot to me just because, we are facing a lot of adversity. But as always, I like my quotes to resonate with people in a lot of different ways. But this is how it resonated with me this time. But yeah, man, you really get to figure out who you are when you're dealing with adversity, because, in the quote it says it may be necessary to encounter the defeats that you are faced with, because from those defeats you can figure out who you are as a person, where you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it. So right now we are in a position to where we are trying to figure out who we are as a team, how we can rise from this as a team, and how we can still come out of it as a team, because we win as a team, we lose as a team. So it's definitely not the time to point fingers. It's definitely not the time to, start jumping ship and, just turning on each other. But it's really a time to just figure out who we are as a team, and how we can still come out of it. So even though a lot of our preseason goals, like contending for a SEC national championship and SEC championship, in a national championship, even though those might be out the window, we can still strive to make a bowl game, a fun bowl game at that. And, just finish the season out on the right note, because in this league and in college football in general, the life goes on, and we have a very, very quality opponent coming up this weekend in Ole Miss. And even though they just dropped their game this past weekend, that's still a really great team. And we have them at home, and we haven't played in Kyle Field in damn near a month. So I know the loyal 12th man fans are going to be out there supporting us. I know I saw some things on Twitter, like people have already started camping out for their tickets for the Ole Miss game at Ticket Pool. So the loyal fans are still going to be there with us. And as always, we appreciate them for that. And we appreciate the 12th man as a whole and just as a community. So, it starts with this one, man. And we just got to take it 1 week at a time, one game at a time, and one situation at a time. So last time, the quote is, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeat so you can know who you are, where you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it." And that is from Maya Angelou, as I said earlier. So, getting into the game, USC, man, they started it off with a kickoff return, a 100-yard kickoff return, the first play of the game. And I'll just take you through it just so you guys can just picture it from my perspective. So we came out the tunnel. We went down there. Some guys pray, some guys just go straight to the sideline. I went and prayed. Came back to the sideline. I was just kind of just stretching out my legs, just getting ready, because we we weren't on the field for his defense was, so I had a little bit more time to stretch and do stuff like that. So, yeah, man, I was actually on the defensive side of the sideline, and I was stretching my legs. I did like a little squat, and I put my head like down. I had my head face down, and I watched the ball kick off, and then I continued stretching, and then out of nowhere, I just heard the crowd just going like, and it just got loud, and it got louder, and it got louder, and then I finally looked up at the big screen, and I saw that they were returning, and I was just like, damn, like here we go. Like I hope that we like keep our poise. I hope we don't let this, just knock us out of our whole mindset of the game, man. And kind of similar to what happened when I was talking about the App State game. It just felt like everything that could go wrong just went wrong in those first couple of drives for us, because we came back on offense, and on that drive they got an interception. I don't know what it was. I know me and Evan, we both had to come back from the outside. Evan was to the field, and if you're throwing a comeback to the field, it's such a hard throw to complete because it's such a long throw, and it takes so long to get to there because it's a long route to begin with, and then you're throwing it across the field. So it's a long throw, man. They returned all the way back inside the 5-yard line, and just already on the road and being in a hostile environment like that, which is a tremendous environment to play in. I love playing in William Brice Stadium, and it was such a fun atmosphere with the light shows they were doing and just how into it their fans were. But yeah, they definitely had momentum in the first quarter. They walked out of that one with a field goal, so that made it 10-0. So we're 10-0 before we even touched the ball for real. And just with the offensive struggles that we've been having lately, in terms of execution, we can't win like that. So, we come back again, we get the ball back again, and we had some miscommunication up front with the O-lineman and with Haynes. And I don't know what happened. I haven't talked to any of them about it, but it's just it was a miscue on both parts, and we had a bad snap, and they recovered the fumble, and they returned it back into the red zone again, and then they score again. They score. They get a touchdown out of that turnover on us, and with 9 minutes and 51 seconds left in the first quarter, they're already up 17-0. So like you can't win like that, man. And off rip, we've spotted them 17 points, and that's just so frustrating. Just looking back and just saying that out loud is just extremely frustrating because I said it. I forgot which game that we had lost, but I had mentioned that I don't appreciate the excuse of, oh, we're a young team. Oh, we're having growing pains, because man, it's just not an excuse, man. And I'm not sitting here blaming the younger guys, because we're all in this together, and we're all learning, and they've been doing a tremendous job. All the young guys have been doing a tremendous job along this roller coaster of the season we've been having. And even it's on us too. It's on some of the older guys. We need to just be held. We need to hold each other accountable as a team, I feel like, and I think that's the part where we're lacking right now. But yeah, man, it just seems like a reoccurring story with us. But it hurts because we have so much talent on this team, and we have the coaching, and we have the game plans. It's just these self-inflicted wounds that I always harp on, man, are just really like putting us behind the 8 ball. And in order for us to be successful, we can't have as many false starts. We can't have as many miscues and misassignments and just little things. It's the details that our coaches always harp on. We can't have so many miscues in that department. And just talking about it right now is just frustrating, man, because no way in hell do I feel like we should be 3-4 with the talent we have on this team and with the coaching we have on this team. But, it's just the cards that we've been dealt. And what we're going to do, we can't sit here and complain because, like I said earlier, we can't just sit here and sulk about it, because we do have 5 games left, and all 5 of those games are winnable. I believe, and we got to go there and continue to fight. And I, for one, I'm a fighter, so I'm gonna go out swinging regardless. But yeah, man. So it's 17-0 up with 9 minutes and 51 seconds left in the first quarter. So that is a bad way to start a game, as any game I've seen, to my knowledge. But moving forward, we go on. We score 14 points unanswered. So we're pulling some drives together. We're getting some confidence back. We're starting to steal some of that momentum. We scored before the half, and then we were getting the ball back at halftime, so that was extremely huge for us. So at this point, it was 17-14 going into halftime. The message at halftime was from Coach Fisher was really just like the first thing he said when he came in the locker room. He was like, "These are the games that you're going to remember. Like these are the games that you're going to tell your kids about, your grandkids about. Just that fight and that grind, and you just some of those wins when things aren't pretty at all and things aren't going your way at all, but somehow, some way, you just find a way to just grind it out." So that was the message at halftime, and guys are really like amped up, like, man, let's go, like, let's go take it from them. Like, they're not going to give it to us. Like, they've lost to us in the last 9 years, so they're tired of it. They got a new coach and Shane Beamer, man. So let's just go take it from it. So guys are really motivated, and guys are extremely confident at halftime. I know we came out of halftime with supreme confidence in ourselves that we were going to go out there and get the job done. When I think back to my childhood homes and all the houses I've lived in growing up with my mom and with my dad, I really just think about one home in particular. I was in middle school, and I was really starting to get into playing football, and football was starting to become much more of a athletic priority for me in my life. And I just remember just, waking up on Saturday mornings in the fall and those cool October and November mornings on Saturday, and, watching College Game Day with my dad, and, us going out to the front yard and, just throwing the football back and forth during those games, and, just acting like I was Robert Griffin III, or acting like I was Cam Newton, and acting like I was Johnny Manziel. And it was just such a fun time just growing up in those homes, and just, it just really made you, looking back, it just makes you really appreciate just where you've come from and just where you've been. So in saying all that, the Hudson team is bringing these same childhood homes to families through the Bryan-College Station area. They're the number one Zillow ranked team in the Bryan-College Station area based on sales volume and number of transactions done each year. When you're working with the Hudson team, you're working with diehard Aggies. Everyone on the team is a former student of Texas A&M. They love helping their former Aggies, so if you're a listener who is looking to sell their house or buy a new home, we highly recommend you to reach out to them. More specifically, you should reach out to our good friend, Alexis Knox. You can contact her at 281-745-0010. That's 281-745-0010. Or you can learn more about her at alexisknoxre.com. You can also find her on social media at Alexis Knox Realtor. I had a pretty good first half. I had 3 for 20. Just like I said earlier in the show, that I haven't really been seeing the production and seeing the touches and targets that I would personally like. But, I've embraced taking on like a new role within this team and a new role of leadership within this team. But it felt really good to, felt like I was contributing out there in the passing game. And it felt good to, just hear my name called and actually feel like I was doing something more than blocking. So it felt really good, and I was proud of myself. I was, even though it wasn't anything crazy. I didn't have any long touchdowns or long balls. Man, I'm just, like I always say, I celebrate those small things. And it meant a lot to, just get some burn out there. But moving forward, we trade scores in the third quarter, and it's 24-21 going into the fourth quarter. So obviously it's crunch time. Nerves are high, I feel like, on both sidelines, and we were really just trying to find any way, man, to just walk out of there with a victory, and just try to pull anything together that we could. But we had to bring in Connor, and Connor was like he was on the sideline. He was like, let's go win this game, let's go, we're gonna do this. So we were like, okay, Connor, so it wasn't any type of doubt. It wasn't any type of nerves when Connor was in, because we were like, look, like we see Connor every day in practice, like he can ball too. So we were like, let's go, Connor, let's go do it. Let's go win this game. So Connor came in. Like I said, I feel like everybody was confident in him, and I feel like for what he had to work with at the time in the game and how the game was going, I feel like he did the best he could. You know, it's never easy at all being thrown into a game like that, being thrown into a close game in the fourth quarter on the road, and you're a freshman. So it's never easy. The odds were definitely set against him, but with all that, I think he played well. They were just getting so much pressure back there on him, and he was having to speed up throws. I know he missed me on a route because he just had to get it out so early, and we weren't on the same page because he just was getting so much pressure. So, I'm proud of him, man. He did the best he could as always, and he's a true competitor and he's a true fighter. So I was really pleased to see what he did. But let me just back forward and just go to Haynes, man. I know I mentioned it after the Alabama game, but he is such a warrior, dude. Like, he went down. You could even tell that he was hurt and he was in pain, but there wasn't any way that he was going to come out of that game. And they had to hold him back. He was ready to go back in there, and you could just tell that he was in pain. But he just wanted to just be out there with his brothers and with his teammates, and he wanted to just fight to win for us. And I was pleased with the way he performed as well, with the cards he was dealt, with all the things that were stacked up against us. I still feel like he performed well under the pressure that he was under. He made a nice play, got Max Wright his first tutty of the season, and Max Wright has got some type of love connection with South Carolina because he scored his first career touchdown at South Carolina from Haynes 2 years ago when we beat them 48-3. But yeah, man, moving forward, I kind of digressed a little bit, my bad, but moving forward, we trade punts, we're going back and forth, but ultimately they would end up scoring a rushing touchdown to go 30-21. They're, like I said in the preview of South Carolina, their running back was very talented. He played a great game, and he's able to get some nice runs on us, man. And they were finding those holes, and they were just doing what they had to do. They were moving the ball. But yeah, man, they go up 30-21. We get it back, and we turn it over on downs the next series. So, the crowd's just getting more into it and more into it, and we're starting to feel like we're running out of time. But yeah, man, it was just really unfortunate. And then we came back down with 10 seconds left, and we were able to march it down the field, and we were able to get a walk out there with a field goal. So with 10 seconds left, we're down 30-24. So, we're not dead yet. We still got a little bit of life yet. We still got a little bit of life left. So the game's not totally over. So obviously in this situation, we set up an onside kick, and my thought was like, man, like if we can get this onside, man, we're going to win this game. And Caden placed it so perfectly off the bounce, and Jacoby Matthews, who I had on my swag list, shout out to him, man. Jacoby Matthews went up there, he made a play, and I thought he was going to return it, but it was extremely smart on his part to go ahead and take a knee because, he could have got tackled because he was in a tight area and we only had 10 seconds left. So very smart move on him. But, he got the ball back for us. He made a play. So I'm just like, man, like, obviously, only play we can call now is just Hail Mary. So we put our jump ball guys out there. We had Noah and Chris and Moose and Evan. They were out there. And I don't know, man. I just feel like if Connor had a little bit more time, I felt like we were going to make some shake. But, we lost the game 30-24. It was just disappointing, man. And you can just tell afterwards in the locker room, guys were just really just down and out. And I was just, I don't know. Because like I said, man, it's just frustrating when you have the talent and you have the coaching, but for some reason, like, you just can't get it to click. And actually, I got home late last night because we didn't land till like 2:30, 3 in the morning. So it was one of those late nights. So I got home, man. I took a shower, and I turned on YouTube, and I went back and I watched highlights from our 2020 season and just how we played as a team, man. And just going back and just watching those highlights and watching that film, the some key things that I see that stuck out with that team and why I believe that we were able to have so much success was it just felt like we were just all on one accord, man. And if you're a fan, if you're listening to this show, I just urge you guys, I'm not trying to say, oh, go back and live in the glory days, man, but just go back, man, and just look how and see how we played, man. Because I started with watching the South Carolina game from 2 years ago, and we played. That's probably, I feel like, our best game as a whole as a season, and we beat South Carolina 48-3 on the road, man. And watching that, you could just see guys were just playing for each other, and guys just were all on one accord, and we just felt like a pure unit. And I think back to those memories of the 2020 team with Kellen at quarterback, and with our offensive line and Carson Green, Jared Hawker, Kenyon Green, Ryan McCullum, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking right now, but just watching that. And I actually saw Jared Hawker out last week during our bye week, and I talked to him for a little bit, and those are just those moments that Coach Fisher always talks about, like when you see someone from a team that you had success with, you're always gonna have that brotherhood. You're always gonna be that. You're always gonna have that bond. And me and Jared Hawker, we weren't the closest guys on the team. We played two different positions. He was way older than me. I was young. That was my first year playing, but I just saw him and he gave me a hug. And we were just talking about like how we've been, how he's been doing, how I've been doing, and and I won the Orange Bowl with him. So we'll always have those memories together, man. And I just urge people to just go back and just watch that 2020 season, man, because it just felt like we were a complete unit just as a team. And maybe it was being in COVID and having to be in close proximities for the duration of that entire season, and just only really interacting with your team and just having those relationships and having those bonds, man. But it just felt like everybody was just all for each other. And I'm not saying that this 2022 team isn't all for each other, but I'm just saying that you can really tell by the way we played that team was together, and that team just had one goal, and that was just to win. And I just remember as I was watching the highlights yesterday, even when we were in a tough position, like let's say we were losing and it was crunch time, I just remember telling people, like, being in those huddles, like on a game-winning drive or on a drive to take the lead, and the crowds and you're on the road or you're in a hostile environment and the pressure's really on, like there was never a doubt that we were going to lose. Because if you remember, we went on that 8-game winning streak and we finished out 9-1 in that 10-game season. But there was just never a doubt that we were going to lose, man. And when you have that as a team, and when you have that confidence, but not arrogance and not complacency, but when you have that confidence as a team, man, it just allows you to play just so free and just so just precise, and it just allows you to execute. And man, and those are really good days. So I'm not sitting here trying to, just to live in the past, but I just really wanted to just see if I could notice any differences in the way we played as a team. But man, kudos to that 2020 team, man. We were 9-1. We went on to win the Orange Bowl that year, and those will be some of my best favorite football and life moments ever. So, yeah, man. Just in closing, like I said, we're sitting at 3-4. Not where we pictured at all, but like I said in the quote, it's just how are we gonna pull ourselves out of the situation that we're in, and just taking it for what it is, taking it like men, that like, hey, these are the cards that we're dealt, and how do we respond from this? So. I can't really say anything else because there's not really anything else to be said. There's no excuses to be made. Everybody just in it, like I always say after every week, it starts on Monday with just how we approach practice and our mindset and the what's the word? The attitude to want to grow, and the attitude to want to be better, and to look ourselves in the mirror and recognize where we individually for everybody messed up. So, yeah, man, I'm always gonna fight for this team. Like I said, I'm the biggest team guy you'll probably ever meet. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, man, but I'm just so about this team and our success. And I know that the loyal 12-man fans out there, that you guys are always going to be there behind us. And, you know, if you're continuing to support my podcast, even though, even despite the season we've been having, then, you know, I just love and I appreciate you guys so much for, you know, just continuing to tune in each and every week and just hearing what I have to say and just hearing my perspective from it. But, yeah, man, this team is not done yet. This team is not quitting. We have so much more left in us. And like I said last week, I really want us to finally put out a great product all around, offense, defense, special teams, for our fans and just for the rest of the country, to just show the rest of the world like who we are as a team and who we can be if we just, you know, just lock in and just do it on a consistent basis. So hope you guys appreciated this episode. I know you guys would much rather want me to talk about a win, but, you know, as always, just got to keep moving and got to just find a way to just wake up and be better the next day. So this has been another episode of the Pod of Aggieland. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and I'm out. Peace.